So, you got yours open?
It's open, yeah.
So look, use this to help you out. Don't ever sit it like that. And you can push it all the way back. That way it's supported. All right, let me get mine open. I like this little thing. It's kind of small, but
Get some of it.
well, it's just easy to get around these corners right here.
That's what I say, get under there.
Let me use this again though, because we're recording a video and we ain't got all day. So, once you get under here, and get everything picked up, and opened up.
That one ain't never been open.
It's been open before.
Yeah.
Alright, so now the next thing you want to do, you want to put this up in the camera right here, is you want to take out that plate right there. So it's two
This
screws.
plate. Okay. Do I switch
So-
screws or I use the same screw?
No. So you're going to take out your penelope screw.
Okay.
And for you, it's a PH 00. For me, it's a J 000.
PH 00. Okay, that's still some. No, it's not. That's a Y. This a PH 000.
Yeah.
Thought you
It
said
look
00.
It look like a Phillips head. So look, now you start with the one. And take the one on the right out first. And you want to sit your screws down the way that they're supposed to go. I always put them in order. Don't ever mix them up because the screws do matter. And then you take your plate off. By the way, this is the screw. If I can get it to focus, maybe not.
Okay.
It probably won't focus.
Take it off.
It ain't gonna focus. It's basically a
Did this
mini
come off
Phillips
right?
head. Yeah, now sit that up there. Now you take the black spudger. This is a spudger, guys. It's plastic. You take that, pop the battery up. So now your phone should look like this, where the battery is, and the battery
I got stuff on
cable
top of my.
should be up. If you can't get it from that side,
Try the bottom.
yeah.
Okay.
Now we're gonna make our way up to the top plate up here.
Okay.
And
With
actually,
the same screw.
let me see. You took that out of the box, huh?
Yeah. No, that one came out the box. No, the one in the box still in here.
But
Yeah,
so,
this came out of this.
So you have an iPhone 6.
Okay.
I have a 6S.
Yeah, the one in the box still in there.
So the bracket is slightly different. So on a 6, a regular 6, you guys will see that this bracket right here has 5 screws. So you gotta take 5 out on this one. And on the 6S, there's only 4. It may look like it's 5, but it's only 4. So you take those screws out and make sure you place them down on the mat in order that you
I
take
got
them
6.
out. No, you don't. You got 5. There's only 5 on that plate.
6.
It's 5 on the plate.
7, 8, 9.
So guys, when you take everything off, The top's gonna look like that, exposing all the connectors. Now, see guys, they look roughly the same. Not really too much of a difference. So now, we're gonna go back to the black spudger.
The spudger?
And you disconnect your cable. So hold on, let me make sure you do the right ones.
Okay.
So let me get mine first.
I'll disconnect this one first because it's the one closer to the thing. I remember you told me that. I always disconnect the one that's closest. That one. Then this one.
So guys, a 6S has 3 connectors. Now, it's easy to tell.
I got one more at the bottom.
It's easy to tell the difference between a 6S and a regular 6.
There you go.
It's because of the plate, for one. 6S plate only has 4 screws.
There you go.
A regular 6 plate
4 connectors.
has 5 screws. And a regular 6 screen will have 4 connectors. And a 6S screen would only have 3. So now we're gonna move the bottom portion of the phone. If you guys have never seen one, I'm gonna move that out the way.
Hey guys.
So now we're gonna start with the most crucial part of the phone, which is the home button. You wanna be very careful with this.
Very careful.
And make sure to not damage the Touch ID. Now these phones that I have right here are used. This is the home button, by the way. Just a little bracket down now. These are used and they have recently come into my shop, so I'm not too sure if Touch ID works. But we'll find out shortly. So what you want to do
is take the bracket.
So on the 6, the regular iPhone 6, the bracket only has 2 screws, one here and one right there. But there's also 1 screw above that. Now, we'll get to that here shortly. And I have 3 screws down here that are roughly all in the same spot. One right here, and I have 1 down here, but my one at the top is actually on top of the bracket. So I've got to take that out. Crucial thing, don't follow my lead. I was supposed to have my grounding mat on. Now, Karen has hers on. What it does is stop the flow of electricity going through these devices. So back to this, we're gonna take out the home button surgically and carefully. Wait, Karen, you're moving too fast and you can damage
the home button.
And we don't want to do that.
No,
so now guys, now that we have the bracket off, this is what the 6S home button looks like. And that's what the 6 home button looks like. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our black spudger, and right here on every single home button, there is a bracket. There's a cable that goes from the home button right here to the screen. We're gonna use the spudger to carefully open that.
Okay. Thank you.
So now we put the spudger down. Now technically, there are a few ways to get this off. A lot of people use heat to take that off. This is the little bracket that I opened up right here. Just that little piece. There are many ways to get this off. You're supposed to do heat, but since I've been doing this long enough, I know an easy way to just get it right on up. Now, this doesn't work every time, so no, Karen, I will not let you try, because you have to be very skilled at doing it.
Okay.
Now,
y'all, here goes the home button.
That is an iPhone 6 home button.
It's off.
And this is the iPhone 6S home button. They look fairly the same in the front and in the back, but they are different and they are not interchangeable at all. So now we're going to move to the top. We're going to extract the camera. So we have a front camera, an earpiece speaker, and the proximity sensors.
This is the 6.
So we're going to extract that. Karen's has 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. And my 6S also has 3 screws. So 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to extract those. So here's the bracket that just holds it down. All right, you got your bracket off? All right. So now here's another point to where you have to be just kind of careful a little bit. So as you can see the camera that I have my finger on, and behind that little piece is the earpiece. So what you want to do is open the camera up, just pull it up slightly. Just open it up so you guys can see it. And you're gonna take the earpiece out. Now, when it comes to repairs, this is a spot where you can make easy money. I don't know if you can see that, but that is kind of dirty. You shouldn't actually be able to see that little white spot on the
mine
camera
are actually clean.
Wrong side.
It's clean.
See, mine should look like hers. That's the #1 reason why you can't hear in these, is because they're dirty. Could be earwax, could be just regular dirt, could be paint, could be anything. So once you have that extracted, you still have the camera up there. Now you have to get the adhesive up to get the proximity sensor. It's a little hard to see. So you're supposed to use heat, but again, I've become very skilled and adept at this to where I don't need to. So I know exactly where to pry it to pull it up. So this is Karen's 6 camera, and it's the front camera proximity and earpiece flex cable. And mine, here in a moment, will also be extracted. So this is mine. They are just slightly different. So that's the proximity, that little gold piece. The front camera's right here on the end. And you have some more sensors right here in the front of the camera. So as always, you want to just make sure that you put things back where they go. So now we're done breaking down the screen to an extent. So let me go and gather the other screens. So Karen's is going to be just a tad bit different. She will have a complete assembly screen. So all she has to do is add the home button back to it. Mine, on the other hand, I'll have to break down just a tad bit for you. So these are the screens that I'll be using. I'll actually be using 2 of them because we got one more 6S. And I'm gonna put this other one up.
You gonna let me do that one by myself?
No.
Talk this one.
No. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, because I'm gonna do an iPad mini next. So as you can see, hold up, let me get this little plastic off of there. You will see this little plastic flaps and stuff. You want to take all that off. Never leave that in. Never leave nothing extra. So this is the new screen for the 6S. This is the old screen. I don't know how much you can tell, but this one looks better than that one.
Okay.
Always, always, always take the plastic off. Be careful not to pull the black shielding off.
There was a screw in there. It was just sitting in there. I took it out.
And as I said, Karen's is a complete assembly, so she already has a new camera, earpiece speaker, and proximity all at the top of her. So the only thing she needs to replace is the home button. So what we'll do the home button first. That way Karen can move along with us. So I'm gonna take my home button and I'm just gonna go in reverse and put it back in there. So you sit it in there carefully, making sure that you put everything back precisely where it goes. And then you wanna make sure you close that little flex cable back down to connect the home button back to the screen itself.
Okay.
So now we're back to here. We're just gonna add that bracket back to it.
Can I see?
Oh. We actually changed the screen, but you know, that's fine. A little uniqueness never hurts.
The bracket. Always make sure y'all bracket it. Y'all fingers down, cause mine's
Always, guys,
my
remember to
battery.
wear this. It's very important. You can short out these devices. I've been doing this long enough to where most of the time I don't have to wear it because I know what to do and what not to do to stop these issues. But just to be on the safe side, you know. So now I have my bracket reinstalled, and now we're gonna move to the top and put that camera back up there on mine. Karen's is already installed.
Babe.
That don't go there.
Yeah.
It's very important to remember where you set everything down at, and to when you get to this point, we're just basically going in reverse order. You don't want to get confused and start mixing up brackets and other screws and stuff, because they all go in the. You don't want stuff going in the wrong spot.
I figured that was it. I didn't.
Now
Gotta pay close attention.
I'm gonna put my camera in proximity back in, which I have installed here shortly. And you know what? Let's give this just a little slight clean. Because it is dirty, let's go ahead and clean that up. So the easiest way to clean this up is with a toothbrush and the strongest alcohol that you can find. So what you're gonna do is just dip the toothbrush in there. By the way, don't ever reuse this that alcohol for anything, medical purposes or anything, because it's gonna be pretty filthy. And I'm going to move this over so I can dry off a piece.
This is this touch.
So as you can see, with just a quick cleaning, I should be back to 100%.
This can just be something you can save right here. So we don't need that. And the earpiece. And we don't need that either.
And now just gotta reinstall my screws. And I'm gonna show you something on the regular iPhone 6. So I have this back installed. It's good and ready to go. We have removed all of the plastic on the device except for the front. I'm gonna leave that on to last. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned that at the bottom of this, although there were only 2 screws on the bracket, there is a 3rd screw here. Well, if you look over at our new screen, oh, actually, I thought it was missing, but it blended in.
It was in the thing.
Oh, well, actually,
they had it in the thing.
Karen put it in there. Sometimes they're not there. It's not really a critical
big deal
component to move, but if you can put that screw back there, it just helps provide a little extra security for the phone. So now we're going to take back our housing. And I don't know how well you can see. You see that little dirt and stuff, and there's some little like glue and stuff in the corners.
Well, mine's kind of clean.
So to clean it, to get the glue out off the frame itself, you want to take a metal spudger or even a plastic spudger, and you just want to go around the corners and just pick up all of the adhesive. And just so you can see, the adhesive is just like these little black pieces of glue. A lot of the times it comes off on the screen itself. But usually there's always some left on the frame. It's always good to take the old glue off. Because you leave it on there, that's when you start running into issues where the screen isn't sitting flush on the phone. So it's prone to cracking easier. It's more susceptible to water damage, which we don't want to have. And it can also lead to the screen itself actually separating from the frames. It could be one of the causes. Now, there are a few causes of that. The main reason being that the screens themselves could be cheaply made and they will actually separate from their frames, which in turn will make it separate from the phone frame itself. So now I have most of the adhesive and off. Now I'm just gonna go over it with the same toothbrush that has a little bit of alcohol on it. Just try to give it a fresh look, fresh clean name on the inside. You also want to kind of clean some of the connections. If you can see that, that battery connector, they want to clean these connectors at the top. Just kind of go over it. Don't have to be rough or nothing. Now, you guys can't see it, but under here I have an air compressor. So I'm gonna turn that on and dry it out. So now we're dry. And don't be afraid, guys. From time to time, sometimes you put the alcohol on there. It's still liquid, so it can trigger the water indicator, but that's fine. For me, I'm not going to replace those, but if that's something that you yourself personally care about, then you can go and replace it. So now we're gonna take our new screens, our newly assembled screens, and we're going to place them back onto our housings.
6.
So I do have mine connected back. I'm going to go ahead and connect my bracket here.
This one
Now when you're placing these connectors down, you want to make sure you won't hear a sound, but you can feel it. It's like snapping some Legos together. Now you don't want to apply a bunch of pressure, as you don't want to actually break the connections, but you know, just put a little bit of pressure on it and you'll feel the little snap.
back on this thing.
It goes down now. Moving too fast, Karen. You got to slow down. Let's make sure all your connectors are down.
I did.
You set that on now.
Okay.
So start with this long one
I
first.
know.
It goes in the corner. Let's take a look. So this is why I say, well, yeah.
It was in there. I had them lined up. How they go?
Well, you put them up here backwards in some form of fashion. So you just have to be careful when you put these down. With the iPhone 6, the top connectors, there is one screw that is a lot longer than the others. So you just want to make sure you put it back where it goes. So if you do happen to mess up, don't put a bunch of pressure and force into screwing the screw back in. If it doesn't go down, then it just means you have it in the wrong spot. Too much pressure will actually crack the motherboard and ruin the entire phone. So now that we have our screen back connected and our bracket back installed, we're going to move back down to the battery. So you just want to connect it and install that bracket back.
Connect the battery?
Whenever you do a phone, the first thing is as soon as you can get to it, you want to unplug the battery, and you always want to plug the battery back up last. If you do a repair with the battery still connected, you run a chance of shorting out the entire device, rendering it completely useless. So now I have the battery back installed and the connector placed. So now I'm going to close the device. And you just want to be kind of careful. Look at the top. Sometimes there are little connectors. I don't know how well you can see those. There's like little grooves. So you want to be careful and make sure that you do those first. So I always start at the top. Get those grooves locked in. Now we're going to move back. You didn't get a chance to see this in the beginning of the video, but you have these two pentalobe screws on each side of the charger port. You want to take those and install those. So the one that I am going to be using is and I think Karen has mine because I have hers somehow, is I'm going to be using a P2 pentalobe screw. I don't know how well you can see that. It's probably not going to focus because there's too much stuff in the way. But a P2 pentalobe screw will work perfectly fine.
Okay, I have a problem.
So, again, guys, give me just a second, Karen. Don't push it no more. Don't push it. You're going to break it. So, I'm back successfully installed. So we'll wait to turn it on and see if it works. So again, guys, as I was saying at the top, you have grooves on some of these phones. And not on all of them, but on some of the screens you have grooves. You probably can see that a little bit better. So you want to start at the top and lock those grooves in as best you can. So, as it seems, you have to lock those in, close the phone up, and then Karen is going to install her pentalobe screws. Now, this particular phone seems like it is, the frame is a little bent. And you can tell because the screen itself is a little elevated from the frame. So down here at the bottom, it's a little higher. I don't know how well you can see that. You can see it a little better in that corner, on my end at least, but it's a little bit higher. So that's an issue with both the screen type that you're using, and it could just be from the frame, which is iPhone 6 is an older phone. So It is, in my opinion, the frame, because I'm using the same type of screen on this 6S and it's sitting pretty flush all the way around. So now Karen is going to install her pentalobe screws. And in just a second here, I'll tell you what she's using. We have two different kits. I have an iFixit kit and a, what is the name of this kit? I'm not sure of the name of this kit, but it has pretty much everything that you're gonna need for phone repair and some other small electronics repair too.
There.
Let me see, because your frame is bent a little bit, so sometimes when you're putting the pentalobe in, it don't want to go in all the way. I don't know how good you can see it, but you want to push down on, well, you have the wrong screw for one.
Yeah. Then change it back.
So with this tool set, this is a CV 0.08 pentalobe screw driver. So you're gonna use this.
Yeah, I'll never forget to change the screws.
To drive the pentalobes in, but don't screw too hard because they won't go far anyway because they're small. But you also don't want to strip the screw. And now, I don't know how well these are done, but or how charged the batteries are, but I'm gonna attempt to turn them on.
Mine's on. See you guys.
And mine is on. So we'll go ahead and remove the plastic. And we'll stay on this screen till we get to the next screen. Now see if there's anything else that can be taught in this lesson. I'm on the home screen, so now we just want to, I'm at 1%, so.
I got a lot of juice.
So you just want to try to touch different things.
4, 5, 6.
I always go to the keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Star, 0, pound. They all work. And then I hit the X to take them all back off. And we're going to hit the power button to take us back to the home screen.
This phone kind of slow, see?
Now, Karen's phone, on the other hand, something is not connected because the bottom half doesn't work. Oh, yes, it does.
It works. It just taking a minute.
It's
like
a little
it's updated.
So
it need to be updated.
So now I got it cleared out. So let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Star, 0, pound. And you do have to push a little hard on it. Not really hard, but again, it's an older phone, but it'll do just fine. So with that being said, this lesson is complete.